Alright guys, as promised, the watercolor tutorial. I'm not the best artist, especially since I'm still learning watercolor, so please do bear with me. This one's a simple one. It's really kind of a basic, so I'm just going to be running through what's happening here, and if you wish to ask questions, maybe because you don't understand what's going on, just drop a question in the comment section. Let's run through it together. So why I choose this as the piece for the tutorial is because of how it would help you get the basics. So I might be a little too fast and not as patient as you might need to see, but it is relatively easy to get the information you would need to be able to follow up or like actually just move up, because I mean it's supposed to be water paint 101, because I'm a beginner myself. I can't call it water paint 101, so I'm going to teach you what I know. If you check my shorts or my videos, or I think I will drop my link to my Instagram and my TikTok, so you can see what I'm capable of. If you feel like I'm not good enough to teach, but if you feel I am, please do have at it, because that's the whole point of this YouTube channel. So I started the video with the drawing, so it's maybe easy if you wish to follow along. So the sketch, what I'm doing, I'm just making everything available. This is like the full unedited or uncut, although I will speed up some parts like the sketch part at the beginning, because I think with the first 10 minutes I made a mistake at getting it right. So I don't have the exact colors, but I feel any variant of the colors I use here I don't think it really matters. You will still get like a very similar result, no matter what color you use, or no matter what variant you are using, as long as you are using the color in question. You're able to get the results that you need to get. So for this video, I am using a combination of watercolor and gouache. Normally I won't use gouache for this kind of painting, or I ran out of blue color. Like I ran out of a specific variant of blue color. The blue color I had is very light for like an afternoon kind of sky, but I'm aiming for the dark sky here, so I ran out of my dark blue. So and yeah, I'm also using white gouache here. Not necessarily. I normally mostly use watercolor for easy pieces like this, for times when I don't have colors at hand and I'm trying to, basically I'm a broke artist here. I'm a broke artist. So I use whatever I have on ground, and so I normally don't use white watercolor, because most of the time it doesn't get the job done. No matter how much, I think personally, sure, I don't know about you, but personally, no matter how much I mix the colors to make it thick as I feel like it should, I don't get the desired color that I would like to get from the white watercolor. So I'm using white gouache to give it that technique, because I feel like white should be something that should come out like very, very loud. Like I feel like white should be like a very big one you get. I don't know how to have a problem with black, but I always had a problem with white. Sorry, I'm wasting your time. Okay, the colors I use are white, black, blue, yellow. Those 4 colors. These are the colors that we will be making use of to get this tutorial going. what mostly we will be doing is like blending colors, or not really blending too many colors, just blue colors, because I'm going to be blending black, white, just the blending colors, but not bold ones, not bold colors that be contrasting. It's really important thing for watercolors, so you don't have like two really bright colors standing out, but you don't have the opportunity to experience that here. So maybe another video, maybe make another video, so we show you, and I will show you how you blend like really bright colors. They're like blue and red together, to be dark blue and red, purple and red too, purple and orange. Those are bright colors. Brown and purple. You can use those colors as complement. You can use them to complement themselves depending on what you're painting. I'm not a pro, so don't hold my neck. For I've used them in different paintings to complement each other. Oh, I'm running fast. 5 minutes. I should let you know that the sketch is kind of rough. So watch till the sketch part is done, so you won't make the same mistake I did, and so you can follow in accordance. I think there are two major techniques for watercolor painting. I personally, there are more, but I feel like as beginners, there are two major techniques that you really need to get an understanding of. And we are going to use it. I am going to use it for the painting. Maybe I hope I can explain it to the best of my ability, so you can get it. Basically, there are two. So there's the wet on wet. As it says, wet on wet, that is wet color on wet color, or wet color on wet paper, however you want to use it. And then there's wet on dry. So I personally use the wet on dry for like blow-ups or to distinguish colors. So I put color down first, and then I go over that color with another color to like give it a contrast, to really bring out something out of the picture. Because let's be honest, when there are many things combined, when there are many beautiful colors combined together, they all come out well. They all come out well. So yeah, I was trying to explain the wet on wets. Basically, the wet on wets, as it says, the wet paint on maybe a wet paper or another wet paint or so. More of blending colors, and if you're a pro, you could still distinguish the colors despite it being wet on wet. Like despite the colors being colliding, you can still distinguish the colors, but that comes with practice. Yeah. So my paintings here are in layers, right? The paintings are in layers. Continually paint the blue until I get the desired blue color I want. Despite using gouache, I use gouache like I use watercolor, because the reason why I bought gouache was somehow to make it easier, so I won't have to be layering as much as possible, because watercolor you need a lot of layering. So you could be pro and prove me wrong, because I mean you're a pro and you can make it better and faster as you wish to make it. But as a small boy like me, yeah, 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 you need a lot of layering, especially if you want to get the desired result. And it kind of takes a little bit of time, so you have to calm down to put in that layering as much as you can continually until you get desired result, because you kind of get disappointed after putting the first or second layer and you are still not getting the desired result. But the more you calm down to actually put in the effort to build that color as much as you need to build it, the easier it becomes, the more easier it becomes. Like it's kind of like retentive memory, and then you're already doing it without you thinking, so you can like kind of like get it done quickly. So I know you get what I'm trying to say. Well, so I paint with it as I would with watercolor sometimes, but sometimes I use gouache directly as it is for, let's say, wet on dry, especially when I want that color. If I have that set of color as gouache and I want that color to really pop out in the painting, I guess that was wet on dry. But when I'm doing a wet on wet technique, I use it most like I use watercolor. I put a lot of water in it, make it as watery as possible, or how would you call it? There's a word for it. I can't remember the word for it, but there's a word for it. I work painting the lamp side. You checking the lamp side here. I've worked painting the lamp side. I try and painting around it because I want to use the original white to enhance that light feeling, because there's nothing. I try to use more resources I already have on the paper as possible, because, well, because number one, I'm broke, so I'm trying to save as much resources as possible. The other reason is so that I don't have to waste efforts that doesn't need to be wasted on. Because if you, I don't know about other people, but there are times when you get frustrated in painting because you don't really know what you're doing and you're trying to learn. So yeah, it comes out like that. Alright, if you're checking this particular point, I didn't really like the shade of blue that I had there, because, like I said, I'm trying to go for night, that darkish blue, really darkish blue color for night. So I wanted to make that night shade, so I mixed black, white, and blue. More of the blue than black and white, because it's a darkish night sky that I want. But the white and black had this equal amount of color, not too much because it's watercolor. But I use a little bit of black and white there and more of blue to give it more of that night the night vibes. And then I painted on top and at the sides. Remember, we are avoiding the lamp because we want to, keep the lamp white, the whiteness of that side as much as possible, so we can use it for the light, so it comes out naturally. uh, so now so now so I waited for it to dry, and now I will go for a wet and dry technique. That is, so now the lamp holder will come, so that the lamp holder will come out quite well again, so that that darkness of the lamp, like the lamp, you're checking it, right? You see, you're watching it with me. I don't want to be the one talking. I don't want to be the one talking. You're watching it with me. The lamp side, the handle, I chose the black color for it, and for the rims and the holding of the lamp, the glass itself. So I wanted it to dry out, so I can use the on dry technique. So that black pops out, so the lamp itself pops out very well. For this part, you might need, if you're using watercolor, that is, you might need to make your this thing. You don't need to put too much water, so you can get it as dark as possible. And if you can't achieve that, this darkness that you're seeing, don't feel bad. Don't feel bad. I'm using paste. In watercolor, so I just paste it out and then use as little watercolor. Use as little water as I can. If you're also looking at my lesson there, you probably be thinking that, so I have different varieties of watercolor. I have this one here that is on the screen, and I have tubes that I pour out and I use out. So if you don't have the paste, then just continually layer your black on your lampshade as much as you can. Then you can pause, you can watch it to where you feel like you need to watch it to, and then get your layering well. Keep on layering your black until you feel like it's done well. Make sure your paint is thick. And if you're using gouache, you don't really need to stress too much about it. Just go into it, but go straight into it. Paint your paint. You use your gouache as much as you need to use it, and just go directly. You'll probably get a really good performance again. I think the best part of brush you should use are those the thinner the brush you use for the painting with the lamp side. From this part of the painting where you're using the wet on dry technique, I think you should use the thinner brush for this painting. I'm not necessarily saying, because depending on the size of the paper, you can use a bigger brush, or we are using quite small paper here, so we use a thinner brush to get the accuracy well, because we are going to be painting the edges of the lamp, the top side, and give it a little bit of glow. So I think the best one, the thinner the brush, will be better. You necessarily need to buy another brush. Use whatever you have. It will work out well. Don't worry. I'm sure sorry. What I normally usually do with my own brushes, the brushes, is I dip my brush. I take thin brush, not thick, or thin brush. Please don't use a thick brush. I use a thin brush. I think there's similarity in the thick and thin. So I dip my thin brush in water, then I kind of smoothing it out to come like a pencil tip. Then I dip it in my color, and then I start painting. So it comes out more like a pencil way of using it, So it comes out more like that. So you can use it more like a pencil way, like as you're handling your pencil. So I went in with another layer of black to bring out the color more, especially for the top side. Then I went in with the yellow to give it that brightness and warmth that light usually gives. I may have slacked to the lamp side. I should have given it more effort, but all in all, I still think it looks great considering how it's looking sumptuous, bro. Alright guys, that should be the end of the tutorial. Although I'm supposed to, well, you can see how I use the white gouache to give it a glow up. Just a touch here and there. Or I think I'm running out of time. I don't want to make this too long. I don't want to make it to be up to an hour, so I'm going to make it as short as possible, do as much information as I can give. So yeah, this should be probably the end of the tutorial, and I hope you understand the difference between the two techniques that was talked here on of the wet on wet and the dry on wet, and wet on dry, everybody says. And I hope you know how and when to apply them. Get different times so that you know, so you can get desired results. So I'll probably be giving more tips or more stuff on what I know on painting. So we can learn together. I mean, you have your own way. I'm probably wrong. You can go to talk. So I can myself I'm not proud of. I'll learn. So I myself can learn what it is and get better also as an artist. If you liked the tutorial on what you just watched and it was nice and it was informative, you were able to get something on it, please do leave a like button. And thank you for watching. Goodbye.